So we've been staying on top of this deadly house fire on the north side on Rolling Oak. I'm going to step out of the way, show you what we are now seeing this morning. Now, this is what's left. It is a much more calm and quiet situation than when we first came this morning. Now, you can see arson investigators still going through the garage, or at least what's left of the garage. We're seeing what looks like a melted Jeep inside the garage. Investigators pulling wiring. You can see the exercise equipment or what's left of it. Just a few moments ago, they had a canine unit going through, seeing if there was any accelerant detected. Now, I'm told there is no reason to believe that the fire was set intentionally. Taking a look at the scene from a few hours ago, investigators tell me firefighters got the call around 3 a.m. They had heavy smoke, flames, and high heat. They had to kick down the door. They heard yelling and screaming. There were 6 people inside. Now, firefighters pulled all 6 out. We're told 1 of the people died on the scene. The other 5 transported to local hospitals. Police have confirmed 3 total people from the fire have passed away. 2 adults, 1 child. We are still waiting to learn the names and ages of the victims. Now, we've been talking to neighbors through the morning. We're told a grandfather, a former Marine, he lives here, takes care of his grandchildren. But again, we are still waiting to learn the names of ages of all the people who live here. And of course, the names and ages of the deceased. We're going to be here live through the morning. But right now, we're going to head to break.
We are starting this morning with an update. That late breaking news, that deadly house fire on the city's north side. The police sergeant on scene telling us 3 people are dead in the aftermath. 2 adults, 1 of them a child. San Antonio Fire Department Chief Hood tells us the first call-in came in around 3 o'clock this morning. This is in a home in the 16,000 block of Winding Oak. This is a neighborhood between Loop 1604 and Knoll Creek. Our Max Massey joins us live from the scene. Max, you've been out there all morning. So what do we know about the people who live in this home?
Well, just a few moments ago, I spoke to the Bexar County Examiner, medical examiner, and they tell me that this case is still in progress, so they can't tell me any of the specific names and ages of the victims. But like Sarah, you've been saying, 6 people at home at the time of the fire. 3 of them have since been declared deceased. Now, we know 2 adults, 1 child. I'm going to take a step away, show you we've since moved a lot closer to the scene. This is the aftermath of the fire overnight. We're told this really unfolded at around 3 a.m. Firefighters getting that response to the scene. The Chief Hood out here telling us that they called out here for a structure fire. They could hear people screaming, yelling on the phone. When they got to the scene, they had to kick down the door and attempt to evacuate the home. They could hear yelling from upstairs. They got here immediately going into rescue operation. Now, neighbors I've been talking to through the morning, they said it really is miraculous that none of the homes adjacent, surrounding this house were impacted by the flames. Now, crews, when they got here, they had heavy smoke, high heat, trying to rescue the people inside. 6 people inside, all pulled from the home. 3 adults were downstairs. 3 children were upstairs. And like we've been saying through the morning, we now know 3 of the 6 did not make it. We're told 2 adults, 1 child did pass away. And Chief Hood telling us earlier this morning, it looks like this all originated in the garage area, telling us that they're also not finding any working smoke detectors, no reports of any of the smoke detectors going off. Now, they said that firefighters will be canvassing the neighborhood, making sure neighbors do have smoke detectors. The chief adding that this is a devastating situation. This is devastating not only for the family and friends of the victims here, also the neighbors. Neighbors I talked to say this is a very tight-knit community, but also just a somber atmosphere here in the neighborhood as you talk to first responders, talk to firefighters, talk to police on the scene. Imagine having to pull 6 people out of the burning home, 3 of them not making it. We've been talking to neighbors throughout the morning. We're going to have much more on this investigation, much more from neighbors coming up at 9:30. Sarah, back to you.
Thank you, Max. Truly a devastating, heartbreaking story there. And of course, we'll stay on top of that throughout the morning on air and online. But good morning. It is 9 o'clock. It is Saturday, July 22nd. Mike is in for Sarah Spivey this morning. Mike, it's going to be another triple-digit day.
Yep, that just continues on. That's almost a given over the rest of the forecast. Maybe a little little bit here, a little bit different here and there. But the other thing that's a little bit different today is the fact that we do have a very small chance for a couple of showers out there. 83 degrees out at the airport. So we are now starting, obviously, the warming process. We had dipped into the upper 70s earlier this morning. That bottom number is at 72, the dew point, sort of the measure of moisture in the atmosphere. So that gives us a heat index right now up to 88. So it is pretty humid out there if you're going for an early morning walk or something, running some errands. We are going to make it up to 103 today, 1 degree above. We were on that 1 degree down trend for the past couple of days. Now we go up just a notch from yesterday's high temperature. The aquifer on yesterday's reading, the updated count hasn't come out yet, but that went up 1/10 of a foot. And the allergens, mold is on the low side this morning. So we do have, again, some of those morning heat index readings to deal with. It feels right now like 89 degrees there at Port SA, 88 Castroville, 88 also over there at Randolph and Gonzales. It already feels like 92 degrees. Now, we do have heat advisories that are in effect through 8 o'clock tonight. We will have the humidity drop down in the afternoon, but this is just kind of taking into account those temperatures that, again, will be in the low hundreds, as you saw at 103 for a high today. So we'll continue to warm up through the 80s and 91 today at noon. Now, it is nice to see a stray storm. I've only got about a 15% chance for one or two of those showers to pop up later on this afternoon. Very few and far between. As we've been saying the past couple of days, don't get your hopes too high for that. And we will top off, like I said, at 103 today, and maybe a little leftover shower into the evening hours. Slightly better chance of rain tomorrow. We'll talk about that coming up in just a couple of minutes. Sarah?
Mike, thank you. Jesse Farias, the local Tejano star facing 3 counts of indecency of a child, has been found guilty on 1 of those charges and not guilty on 2 of those charges. The punishment phase of the trial is expected to happen today. Stay with us on air and online for the latest updates. You can read more about this trial. Just head over to KSAT.com. 2 people are in jail this morning after police found them with several stolen IDs. This is according to the New Braunfels Police Department. 25-year-old Barry Hawkins and 17-year-old Tyler Williams were taken into custody around 2 o'clock on Friday morning. Police say Hawkins sped out of a neighborhood. When they tried pulling him over, he didn't stop driving. That's when police continued until the driver's car ran out of gas. Both suspects had several stolen items on them. Police believe the items are from recent car burglaries. Again, this is an ongoing investigation. A San Antonio man jailed on several charges has died at the Bexar County Jail. A deputy at the jail says they interrupted this man on your screen, Kiernan Williams, during a suicide attempt. Began performing life-saving measures. However, deputies say they could not save him. So Williams was arrested back in January of 2020 for a deadly shooting at a bar in downtown San Antonio. 2 men were killed and 5 others were injured. According to an affidavit, Williams pulled a gun after getting into an argument with one of the victims. Williams' other charges were burglary of vehicles and unauthorized use of a vehicle. The Justice Department plans on taking legal action against Texas. That's according to a letter sent to State Governor Greg Abbott. So that legal action would be because of the floating barriers on the Rio Grande River that were made to stop migrants from crossing the border. Those barriers on your screen right now. In that letter, the DOJ says, in part, the barriers, quote, violate federal law. They raise humanitarian concerns and present certain serious risks to public safety and the environment, end quote. In response, Governor Greg Abbott took to Twitter Friday to say the state has sovereign authority to defend its border. The Justice Department has given Texas a deadline of Monday, July 24th for the removal of those barriers. And a federal judge has set a date for former President Donald Trump's classified documents trial. So the jury selection is set to begin on May 14th in 2024 in Fort Pierce, Florida. The trial would fall ahead of multiple GOP presidential primaries. Trump's legal team had been hoping to postpone the trial until after the general election in November of 2024. Trump and his aide are accused of unlawfully retaining national defense information and obstructive conduct. Both have pled not guilty. Newly classified court documents revealed that the FBI improperly searched for the name of a U.S. senator in an intelligence database. The database was created under Section 702 of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act. It allows U.S. intelligence agencies to conduct broad searches to identify threats and leads related to foreign intelligence missions. So the new court filing comes during a bitter battle in Congress over whether to reauthorize Section 702, which is set to expire at the end of the year. The law faces an uncertain future, with lawmakers raising concerns over possible abuses. It's 9:09 and 82 degrees. Still ahead, making friends might not always be a challenge for some, but it's still tough to make new ones. We'll tell you what to do if you are in need of finding new friends. We can all use some new friends, right? Plus, what the city of San Antonio is doing to make sure the streets around town are staying cool with a new cooling pavement. That's a pretty cool program. We'll tell you about that. Man, could we really use some cooling pavement around our city? 82 degrees, looking out at the roads. Those roads are going to get so hot later today once we reach over 100 degrees. Mike will have our forecast when we come back. We all know, we all feel that San Antonio is heating up, but the city is working to make sure some streets can actually cool down. So the city just finished the first phase of its pilot program for the cool pavement. So paving 12 streets across San Antonio. This cool pavement is a treatment that uses materials to reflect solar radiation. The city says this is a step towards sustainability and heat management across San Antonio.
We'll look at cool pavement in these most vulnerable census tracts or neighborhoods, and we'll add cool pavement, trees, and cool roofs to see how much we can cool down the neighborhoods.
UTSA is currently collecting data on the pavement. They're hoping to find a decrease in asphalt temperatures by at least 10 degrees. That data will be presented to the city in December. I did the story a while back, Mike, when they did like the first small street on the east side to test this cool pavement out. And it's really just because we have these urban heat islands, like you said earlier, especially in the inner city where there's just a lot of concrete, a lot of buildings, a lot of those like materials. I mean, even at night by 9 p.m., it really hasn't cooled down. It just retains all that heat.
And with that, I mean, I think I'm like a lot of folks. I thought, well, just why not do every street? You just paint that on there. But it's not just like a coating, but it's an actual, it's something in the actual pavement itself.
Yeah, there's chemicals in there that help it, like they said, up to 10 degrees cooler, which makes
amazing.
all the difference, especially for, the animals, the people that are walking on those roads all day long during prime heat time. This guy definitely staying indoors.
I think that's the expression most of us have. A lot of people do, and we tell them the forecast, we're going to stay in the hundreds. It's like, really?
Cool story.
It's not even a side eye. It's just like that.
Just the eye.
Just the one eye. It's like, just get on with it. So, anyway. Cute dog, Captain Jack. Thank you very much for the KSAT Connect picture. Lots of sunshine out there, and boy, if we could just get some clouds even, that would help out. Maybe a couple of them later on today and tomorrow. More on that in a second. First of all, let's jump ahead, going into even the first couple of days of August, and this is Climate Prediction Center, and it doesn't mean we are going to be on the dry side. It's just the odds of having less than normal precipitation, which we're kind of flirting with that, almost a 50-50 chance, maybe slightly below that. Now, as far as temperatures in that same time period, still very good chance of being on the above normal side. And by the way, once we get into this time of year, late July is when we start to see then the hottest historical temperatures of the year, 97 being the normal high that time and 76 being the normal low temperature. So even above that as far as the chances of being above normal, and then go even further on into the first weekend of August, and 50-50 chance for a little bit of, just normal precipitation, which is not a lot this time of year, of course, and then still staying on the warm side of things. So it's not encouraging, even looking way down the road, looking way out in the Atlantic Ocean. That is what's the leftover of Tropical Storm Don just kind of sitting on out there. And the Hurricane Center has that little bit of clouds there in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean kind of flagged as of right now. But for the time being, everything is pretty quiet out there. Like I said, just dawn, so just 4 named storms thus far, and we are 1/3 of the way through, or almost 1/3 of the way through the tropical season, which goes up through the end of November, started back on the 1st of June. Here's the computer model later on today. 1 or 2 of those showers are going to try to pop up around here. We've got this flow coming in out of the north around that high. The same thing that's keeping us on the hot side, but that's pulling some of that little bit of energy on in here. So again, just 1 or 2 of them, maybe an extra cloud here or there to help out slightly. Now then tomorrow, there's a better chance for a few showers and thunderstorms. And I know this looks really, really encouraging. Again, I think the thing to do is hope for the best, but don't be overly disappointed if you don't get anything. Yeah, there will be, like I said, 1 or 2 more tomorrow, and I think especially down to the south as we get into the afternoon heating and that disturbance kind of drifts a little bit further on down to the south. Even, like I said, a couple of extra clouds would be very helpful if that would be the situation. So again, that high is just off to the far enough to the west of us. We're into this northwesterly flow around that counterclockwise rotation right there. And that's going to be the case today as well as tomorrow, and even kind of open up perhaps something on the Gulf a little bit. But then that high is going to almost strengthen slightly going into the first half of next week, and that just means no rain, a little bit hotter temperatures. By the end of the week, the hope being that we would get a little bit of a wave coming in here from the Gulf of Mexico. That's just fingers crossed as of right now that we see something out there. 103 today, 102 tomorrow. Back to the 103s going into the first half of next week. Triple-digit temperatures will continue.
And we really haven't had an active hurricane storm season.
Not as of yet. Now, a lot of times it does start to then pick up because the peak of the season is getting into September, right around, you know, as it would be statistically the middle of the season right there around the 1st of September.
So far, a little bit of a slow start.
Yeah, and even like with, excuse me, this storm out there, Don, some of us were kind of like, well, it was just a kind of a subtropical type system, not really a, you know, a good old
strong system.
Kind of a system like that. But I mean, things can pop up very quickly, and still got 4 months to go with the tropical season.
Okay, thanks, Mike. It's 9:18 and 83 degrees. How many friends do you have, Mike?
Well,
like really good friends.
The ones that I like, so a few. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it seems that many of us don't have enough. And how do you find more friends?
But you're my friend, so that's enough.
Oh, you're my friend too, Mike. Okay, we're gonna have details about this story next.
We are smack dab in a recession. No, not that kind. Not yet. But an overwhelming majority of us are in a friendship recession. In 2014, we spent over 6 hours a week with friends. Now we're down to less than 2 hours and 43 minutes. So how do you make new friends?
I'm not exactly that social, so I haven't made that many friends.
You gotta go out into your community and try things, I guess, and just talk to people and see where it goes.
Experts say there are ways you can grow your circle. First, consider joining a sports league or club. It's a good way to meet people with similar interests. Take a class at a community college. You'll meet people and possibly learn something while you're doing it. You can also start your friendship journey online. The best-rated apps to find a friend include Unbind. It connects like-minded people based on their interests and hobbies. The Friended app breaks the ice with interactive activities like video chat, guessing games, and quizzes. On Meetup, you can find groups of people with a common interest and join their scheduled event. Most importantly, remember friendships take work. Research show it takes about 11 different encounters, each 3 hours long over the course of 6 months, to turn an acquaintance into an actual friend. I'm Leslie Hudson reporting.
Also, when I moved out of the country and didn't have any friends, dog park, because you had to take your dog to the park every single day. I made a lot of friends at the dog park, and everyone loves dogs, so there's a tip there. It's 9:23 and 83 degrees. Coming up next, let's look at what's trending on KSAT.com. And camels, yes, camels in the Alamo City. We'll talk about what that is when we come back. If you're wanting to take a swim soon, there's a place along the Texas coast where you can swim in 12 acres of crystal clear water. Oh, that's cool. It's at Lagoon Fest, Texas, located on the 12,600 block of Crystal View Boulevard in Texas City. Okay, Texas City. Tickets start at $20 for children ages 3 to 13 and $28 for anyone 14 and older. Access to kayaks, aqua cycles, paddle boats are available at additional costs. Visit KSAT.com for more information. And this is kind of a strange one. Camels will be in the Alamo City. It started just this morning at 9. Camels are here as part of a historic event by the Texas Camel Corps. So camels will be seen until noon as part of an event aimed at educating the public about the use of camels in America during the 19th century. Attendance is free and no tickets are required. The camels will be in the Alamo Garden during the event. The Alamo is located at 300 Alamo Plaza. I hope those camels can stay cool, especially, up until noon today. It is 9:28 and 84 degrees. We'll be right back.
Well, good morning, everyone. Happy Saturday. It is the second to last weekend of July. Getting ahead of myself here. Obviously, it is warm out there already, warm and humid. We have started the warming process already up to 83 degrees. We did drop down into the upper 70s, just a couple of notches above normal earlier this morning. And that number, dew point, is still at 72, which means we still have a fair amount of humidity out there, but at least the one little silver lining to the forecast the past few days and what's going to continue is the fact that that number will definitely drop down. So we will have lower humidity in the afternoon. But right now it feels like 88 degrees. Same thing, Castroville at Randolph. 90 is the heat index right now in New Braunfels. And it already feels like 94 degrees over there in Gonzales. We do have heat advisories in effect through 8 o'clock tonight, just given the fact that we have triple digits all around the area up into the low hundreds again. So we've got the humidity around here this morning and then 103 for high temperature yesterday. We were kind of going down a degree each day, successive day for the past couple of days. We're going to bounce back up a little bit. There's a very small chance for a stray shower or storm around here later on this afternoon. Don't count on it. Most of us, the vast majority of us, won't see any rain. Slightly better chance of a couple of showers tomorrow, albeit still a small chance. And then after that, just more triple digits to round out the month of July. Details coming up in just a couple of minutes. Sarah?
Mike, thank you. Back to that top story this morning, the investigation into a deadly house fire in the city's north side. Police on scene confirming 3 people are dead. We know that there was a family of 6 in the home, 3 others in the hospital. After the fire on Winding Oak, this is the neighborhood between Loop 1604 and Knoll Creek. Our Max Massey has been there since 5 o'clock this morning. So Max, I know now that the sun is up, you've probably talked to several residents in that area and neighbors, and what are they saying about this family?
Well, guys, before we get into the neighbors and the friends and family, I want to start with the investigation. Arson investigators just leaving, and take a look at what we're able to see now. This is the remains of the garage. This is what arson investigators have been combing through really since 6 this morning. The flames so intense, the materials, the supplies, the desks, the workout equipment in this garage melted. And then as we take a look at the left portion of the garage, this is a perfect demonstration how hot these flames were. The car, what's left of it, essentially melted down to just the steel. Now, these investigators have been going through the garage, combing through, even bringing out a canine unit, trying to detect if any accelerants were evident. Now, investigators just took off a few moments ago. They tell me that there's no reason right now to believe that the fire was started intentionally. They also tell me that they did discover a working smoke detector on the top floor in the hallway of the home. Now, as for neighbors, we've been talking to neighbors through the morning, truly distraught, telling me that they know the family who lives here. We discussed with the medical examiner just a few moments ago how they say that this case is still in progress. We do know 3 people died in the aftermath of this fire. 6 people in total pulled, 2 adults, 1 child, now dead. Still waiting to learn the names and ages of the victims. But for now, let's take a look at what we saw earlier. This was when we first got here. Firefighters tell me they got the call around 3 a.m. When they responded, they had heavy smoke, flames, high heat. The door was locked. They had to knock it down, kick down the door. And when firefighters entered, they heard yells, they heard screaming. 6 people inside. They pulled all 6 out. We're told one of those 6 died on the scene. The remaining 5 were transported to local hospitals. Police on the scene confirming 3 total have passed away through the morning. Like we've been saying, 2 adults, 1 child. Obviously a traumatic situation for family, friends, neighbors, and first responders. Chief Hood out here earlier this morning saying what investigators have come this morning, saying that really this probably came from the garage. But again, this is an ongoing investigation. We're going to be out here trying to learn more information throughout the morning, so make sure to stay with us on air and online as more info becomes available. Sarah?
Max, thank you. A man is dead this morning after he was ran over on the city's west side around 10 last night. San Antonio police say the man was lying down in the left lane of North Zarzamora Street when he was struck by a driver. That driver did not stop to render aid. That driver did stop to render aid. The man died on the scene. There are no charges expected to be filed against that driver who did stop. A soldier is dead and 5 others are injured after a crash at Fort Bliss. This happened around 9:30 on Friday morning in a base training area. The names of the soldier or those that were injured have not been released at this time. Fort Bliss is home to the 1st Armored Division. The cause of that accident is under investigation at this time. Now to the latest with the suspected serial killer and the Gilgo Beach murders and the new information authorities are looking into. ABC's Jacqueline Lee has more on this investigation.
This morning, 9 days after his arrest, the investigation deepening at the home of a suburban dad now accused of being a serial killer. Authorities seen here going into the Massapequa Park home of 59-year-old Rex Hewerman. Law enforcement sources say investigators are trying to determine whether Hewerman allegedly killed any victims inside his home.
They're going to look for anything they could potentially get genetic material off of, like personal effects that he had taken from the victim, clothing, whatever it might be. If he used any sort of implement, like a knife or something like that, to harm them.
Hewerman now charged with murdering 3 young women in New York more than a decade ago. He has pleaded not guilty. On Wednesday, Asa Ellerup, the wife of Rex Hewerman, filed for divorce after more than 25 years of marriage, saying through her attorney her family is going through a devastating time. And now the investigation expanding to other states. Police in Las Vegas, Nevada say they're looking into possible connections to unsolved cases. Hewerman and his wife owned a timeshare at this Las Vegas condo complex called Club Des Soleil. In Rock Hill, South Carolina, police trying to determine if Hewerman could be connected to the 2014 disappearance of Aaliyah Bell. The 18-year-old went missing about 20 miles from the vacant lots Hewerman owned there. And in New Jersey, another cold case from 2006. Police looking for a link between Hewerman and 4 women working as prostitutes killed near Atlantic City. Their bodies found in a watery ditch.
That was Jacqueline Lee with ABC reporting. Saving lives with minimal space and air conditioning. It's been nearly 3 weeks since the AC unit went out at San Antonio Pets Alive Rescue Center. The nonprofit is now relying on outside resources to help these rescue animals. Stephanie Paz-Pettis with SAPA says foster homes have stepped up to help. Temporary units and a generator mean there is some space at the rescue center. The nonprofit says it is doing all it can to protect the dogs in its care. This as they continue to wait for yet another week for the air conditioner at its rescue center to be fixed. The city's animal euthanasia list is also growing.
The fact that our AC unit was broken and set us back a few days impacted our life-saving work, but we're still picking up and doing the best that we can.
SAPA rescued 112 dogs that were going to be put to sleep this week. Paz-Pettis says the overpopulation problem has grown over the last few years. Well, juvenile idiopathic arthritis affects nearly 300,000 children in the U.S. The autoimmune disease not only attacks the joints, but can also damage the lungs, heart, and eyes. So we spoke with one teen who has lived with the disease since she was 7 years old. plus some signs to look out for if your child has juvenile arthritis. Juvenile idiopathic, also known as JA, is most common in kids under the age of 16. The disease forces the immune system to become overactive, which causes damage to the body. The most common area is your joints. Juvenile arthritis can start as early as the infant stages. Dr. Thomas Rennie with Rheumatology Associates of South Texas says parents should look out for swelling and stiffness when checking their child for JA.
These young children are going to have the joint pain and swelling. One of the main things that we look for is stiffness in the morning when they get out of bed. If it takes them 1 or 2 hours before they're kind of doing their normal activities, that could be suggestive of an inflammatory arthritis.
17-year-old Chloe Keys started experiencing symptoms when she was 6 years old. Since being diagnosed, Chloe has been on several different medications and has learned to adjust her life around the disease.
I like to live like a pretty active life, so I've had to find ways to still do the things I like to do while like coping with an illness that sometimes puts me in a lot of pain and makes it so that I can't really do things how other people do them. And so I've had to learn how to kind of stand up for myself and the like accommodations that I need. And that's kind of a new skill that I've like had to really kind of develop.
She says living with JA isn't stopping her from living her life to the fullest.
You can do everything that you want to do, even when you have arthritis, but you might need help, and it is okay to ask for help.
Chloe also tells us she's been able to manage her arthritis with the help of her family, doctors, and friends that she's made through the Arthritis Foundation. It's 9:41 and 84 degrees. Let's take a look outside with live cam. 84 degrees now. Ooh, probably going to be up to 103, but Mike says there is a small chance for a stray shower or two. Will you be lucky to see one? Hopefully, maybe. We'll have this forecast when we come back.
What's your best way to keep cool?
Stay inside.
Yes.
Okay, but I'm an outside girl.
I know, you get your fingers dirty and dig around the garden.
And so as soon, right after this, I'm going to go water the KSAT garden. I'll go water my garden at home. I wear a big hat. And I love this picture, Mike.
Speaking of watering, yes, everybody likes a pool or any sort of fresh water there. And there's the squirrel.
Oh my gosh, I thought it was a lizard. I really thought, I was like, this is an iguana or something. Look at that tail.
He doesn't have a real fluffy little tail.
Well, no, because he's so hot, it's deflated. It's not all fluffed up. Poor guy.
He's getting a nice little refreshing semi-splooting, I guess you could call it. So any port in a storm, as they say, whatever can cool you down. Thank you very much for the KSAT Connect picture. We have plenty of sunshine around here, and obviously with all that sunshine, things are going to be heating up very quickly. But the nice thing is, obviously during the afternoon, then at least the humidity, that dry air upstairs, gets down here to the surface, and as we say, it mixes out, the humidity mixes out in the afternoon, which is why it is somewhat more comfortable if you are going to be out in the shadows, maybe doing a little watering of your garden. Right now, 83 degrees, that's the temperature, pretty common number out there. 84 in New Braunfels and 85 right now at Castroville. Gonzales is the hot spot on this map at 86 degrees. And we will continue to warm up through the 80s the rest of the morning, 91 at noon. And then, yeah, it's been a while since we've had that on there, but ain't much. 15% chance for a couple of stray showers or thunderstorms to pop up later on today. 103 high temperature. So once again, we are going to be, the normal high right now is 96. So we're going to be 7 above normal. And that trend of above normal temperatures obviously is going to continue not only this weekend, but also throughout the rest of the month of July. And that's looking like it's going to start off August that way as well. Satellite picture right now, obviously not much to see in this vantage point. Widen out a little bit and see some of these showers, few clouds up here, up almost around the Panhandle, northwest Texas. And this is now starting to work its way down in our direction. Not that necessarily individual cell, but some of this energy. So as that continues to move down in here throughout the course of the day, we'll see a couple of showers trying to pop up. We don't have a real tight lid on the atmosphere, so that's allowing things to sort of rise up in the atmosphere, allowing some of those showers to pop up. Although just not all the good ingredients are in place, which is why It's not going to be much. Now, there's a slightly better chance to see a few more of these pop-up showers as we go into the afternoon hours tomorrow. And what's looking like, and a lot of models are leaning this way, computer models are leaning this way, to have more of that, or at least a better chance further on in some of our southern counties. But there'll still be a couple of them scattered around the area. So, but again, to take away from this is, don't get too excited about rain chances around here. There will be some, but going to be kind of count them on one hand today, and the majority of us even tomorrow won't see any rain. Hopefully a couple of extra clouds just to help take the edge off of that blazing sunshine out there. And speaking of blazing sunshine, all week next week, temperatures remain in the low hundreds. Perhaps something tries to, a little something kind of coming in here from the Gulf of Mexico maybe, but doesn't really look like that's going to be the situation. We are going to be wrapping things up after the break.
Happening now, you can donate your equipment, things like wheelchairs for people who can't afford them. It's all part of Project Men's citywide donation drive. You can drop off any type of medical equipment at the Wonderland of Americas today until 1 this afternoon. And seniors over the age of 60 or people with a disability can request a box fan at no cost by calling United Way at 211. The box fan program relies on donations. So if you want to help, you can donate or purchase a 20-inch box fan. We have those drop-off locations right now. Just head to KSAT.com. It's 9:52 and 85 degrees. Here's a look at what's coming up after the break.
A devastating morning for neighbors, family, and friends here on the north side. This fire behind me, what's left of it anyway, we're told it is deadly. We know 3 people dead, 2 adults, 1 child. We're going to have the latest in just a few moments. I'm Max Massey, and this is what's left of a deadly house fire here on the north side. Take a look. This is the situation. This is what's left of the garage. And the police sergeant on the scene telling us 3 people dead in the aftermath, 2 adults, 1 child. The fire department chief, Chief Hood, telling us the first call came in around 3 a.m. this morning. This home in the 16,000 block of Winding Oak. That's the neighborhood between 1604 and Knoll Creek. The first responders getting here at 3 a.m. Chief Hood telling us they got calls for the structure fire. They could hear screaming. And when they got here, they had to kick down the door. They heard yelling from the upstairs. They tried to evacuate the home. The firefighters immediately going into a rescue operation. Crews said they had to deal with heavy smoke, high heat, and of course the deadly flames. 6 people inside the home. All 6 were pulled. 3 adults downstairs, 3 children upstairs. We now know 3 of the 6 people from inside did not make it. And we're told 2 adults, 1 child passed away through the morning. We heard from Chief Hood earlier this morning. He said it looked like this fire originated in the garage area. And we just talked to arson investigators. They tell us they did find at least 1 working smoke detector that's been going off through the course of their investigation. The chief adding, this is a devastating situation, not only for friends and family, of course, neighbors and first responders who had to pull 6 people from these flames. And right now, we've been in talks with the Bexar County Medical Examiner, working to learn the name and ages of the 3 victims who died. We do expect to learn more information about the investigation and the victims throughout the morning, so stay with us on air and online as more information becomes available. Reporting on the north side, Max Massey, KSAT 12 News.
Switching gears to weather right now, and boy, it's already steamy out there. It feels like 92 degrees when you factor in some of the humidity. 96 is the heat index right now. Gonzales, 94. Pleasanton, at least the humidity will drop down somewhat by later on today. Of course, we have heat advisories in effect through 8 o'clock tonight because of these hot temperatures, which we're going to be up to 103 today. A couple of showers, maybe a storm. Most of us won't see anything. And tomorrow, a slightly better chance for a stray shower or thunderstorm or 2. And then after that, it is just going to be staying very hot in through the rest of the week, with those temperatures staying right around 103. Maybe something decides to slightly change next week, but that's kind of a wait and see situation. So.
Hey, before we go, Mike, I want to remind everyone that Project Men's is having their citywide donation drive. It's happening now at Wonderland of Americas until 1 p.m. They need things like wheelchairs, medical equipment for people who can't afford them. And you've worked with them before.
Done a couple of stories for SA Live with them. And what a great organization, because anything, I mean, think about it, a walker, maybe it's one of those little stools to sit in the bath or something, or like a wheelchair. They take it in and they bring it up to basically brand new. It's all up to the standards, and then it is given to somebody. A $20 registration fee is all you do. And they then follow up with it, and they then keep track of it and repair it if it needs to be repaired once you possess it.
And one thing that you talked about earlier, this is not based on income.
No,
it's
not at all.
$20 to register, because even if you have insurance, someone like a wheelchair, maybe insurance won't cover it, or it'll only cover a little bit, and these can be really expensive.
Well, and also sometimes if someone were to, like, if I had a medical device, as it's been explained to me, and then you needed it, well, it wouldn't fit you. I'm a lot taller than you are or something. So they find the things that actually fit the people properly as well. Everything is, like I said, they've got these ultraviolet disinfection things. It's really, really a great organization. Like I said, if you have anything, the crutches laying around, you're going, well, maybe I'll need them sometime.
The scooter for the leg injury.
Yeah. Donate them to them. They can really use it. They've got a ton of them out there, but then it goes out just about as fast as it comes in.
Okay, again, that's happening right now at Wonderland of Americas until 1 o'clock today. Hey, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you guys tomorrow.